This is the Mazda RX-7 and you're watching 1010s
featuring Grip Auto.
Hi guys, welcome back to 1010s. Today you join us with another car review with a car that's almost as quirky as the last one we reviewed. For those of you who haven't seen the Alpha SZ video, I'll put a link down below. But as for today, we have the Mazda RX-7. But not just any Mazda RX-7. Dom, what are we looking at?
So this is the final version of the RX-7 essentially. It's the FD3S they are known as with this particular shape. So this is a Type R Bathurst R. For those that don't know, Bathurst is a small town in New South Wales, Australia, where we live here. Famously known around the world, I guess, for the endurance races that they have there. In particular, this is called the Bathurst R because, well, in the early 90s, 92, 93, 94, these dominated the 12-hour endurance race, beating their main competitor, which was the 968 RS Clubsport. So what you see here is quite a potent package. Great sports car and
great shape.
Great shape. I mean,
great design.
Look at the design, the lines of it.
Exactly. So yeah, proper driver's car. The owner tells me he's been driving it a lot during the holidays. Takes it down to Tasmania. Does 2,000 Ks in a weekend. So yeah, proper driven Mazda RX-7. I'm giving its full name, Mazda RX-7 Type R Bathurst R. Quite a mouthful, but that's
typical of Japanese cars in the 90s. They throw a whole heap of badges and names.
Exactly. So yeah, this car was built to celebrate Mazda's victories in the Bathurst 12-hour down here in Australia, as Dom was saying. It comprehensively beat out Porsche many years in a row. First the 968 and then later on the 993 Clubsport in 95. So when did this car race in Bathurst? They started out with the Visco cars.
Peppy Visco. Yeah.
So for the early cars.
Sponsoring back then.
Yeah. And they won 3 years in a row.
So.
And this car was built to celebrate that.
And now across the start finishing line goes Greg Hansford in the Mazda RX-7 that he shared with Neil Crompton. Victory for the third time for Mazda.
And that's where the story starts. So at the top of the tree, at least here in Australia, they also built the SP version, which was built to compete from the 95 season onwards, and that took on the 993 Clubsport RS.
So the SP was an Australian-only model, and it was built, as you said, purely to dominate and beat the
beat Porsches in the Australian GT Championship. And getting on to the SP, homologation special version of the RX-7 that was built only for the Australian market. So 25 cars were built for that run. Some differences for the SP version: you'll get the higher rear wing, more aggressive body kit. Yeah,
carbon fibre front body kit that they developed, something lightweight with some extraction vents to get the heat out. They changed over the seats, basically homologated to go racing.
And now the SP is very highly sought after worldwide. That's for the Bathurst Type R, one of 500 cars. So this one's a 2001 model year, and built just before the famous Spirit R versions. So a car that's got a lot going for it, with good design, well known in pop culture, with notoriety from Initial D, and also multiple racetrack success. And now coming up to the walk-around of the RX-7 Bathurst R. Dom, you ready for this? Oh, what you got there?
It's a bit of a Dorito pack.
Doritos? Oh, I wonder what inspiration you got for that.
Oh,
you know?
A bit hungry.
Yeah, it's just a bit hungry?
Yeah,
right.
So I thought I'd get a taste for the Doritos before I taste the Dorito.
Just a Dorito. Yeah, no, good one. So starting off from the front, we got pop-up headlights. Also this sort of sleek carbon fiber front splitter, which actually does look very similar to the standard front splitter.
I was about to say that, it does look very close to it.
But those came in black plastic, whereas this one has been fitted in carbon fiber. So yes, one of the few small modifications you'll find on this car today. Looking around from this side, again, great sleek design, and coming up with the wheels, go fast. This car's been lowered on coilovers, of course.
Market coilovers.
Yep. We got.
Although, these did come with adjustable dampers from factory, and that's one of the unique features of the Bathurst R.
And a really great stance on this one. So, as you can see, Dom, put your hand in there. What kind of clearance do we have?
So, you've got a bit less than a
Hands width?
Auto's watch in there. Yeah, well, let's get the hand in there. So
Yeah, about that much.
about that much. Yeah.
Coming on the side, so we also have the aftermarket carbon side skirt as well. I think really helps with the design. And speaking of design, where's the door handle here? Do you see a door handle, Dom?
Yeah, brake glass in case of emergency.
Yeah.
Yes. One of my top 3 items for car design in this particular model is how clean and sleek the side of this car is.
It's right there.
Yeah, by mounting that handle right there, it's just...
It really helps to clean up the look of the car.
It just keeps it smooth, clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like this design, would you believe, is coming up to 30 years old.
That's right.
30 years old, this design. And this initially came out in 1992, the design. And if you were to take this silhouette, this profile, and put it on a bit of paper today, and you could easily make it look modern.
Exactly.
It's amazing, and just purely look at the lines, the fact that it's kept them so clean. If you ask me what's the best looking Japanese car ever designed, the first thing coming to my mind is an RX7. So.
Speaking of design, this car was designed by Mazda's US design studio apparently.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
There's actually a concept version of this car, which currently lives in the Peterson Museum. So that was quite striking to see, and you can actually tell where, if you look at that concept car, that it's pretty much retained almost all of the lines and the features. So again, I guess you could call the RX7 a concept car for the road in that sense, since it retained very much a lot of the same proportions as the concept car. And the adjustable rear wing got 3 levels here, and you can get some quite aggressive angles, as I'll put a clip in here. So yeah, get quite a bit of adjustability with this rear wing. And of course, and to let you know, a bit of aftermarket piece here in dry carbon as well. So it really helps with the look of this car.
Obviously, the owner's added an aftermarket rear diffuser in carbon fibre.
Well, which really helps to bring out the volume in the rear end.
Exactly right.
Because otherwise it's a very slender shape, and the body kit really helps to add a little bit of that extra volume. But also speaking of the design from the rear end, maybe if you squint a bit, you might see it might resemble another car, the Ford Taurus maybe. Yeah, nah. This car on its own. This is how it's done. We come up to the 13B.
13B turbo. First time that Mazda used twin sequential turbos on this engine. The previous generation ran known as the FC. Ran a single turbo.
And this is the first sequential twin turbo setup to be exported from Japan.
Quite complex, but in theory the way it works is the first turbo comes in, brings the power on, and try to eliminate lag by then introducing a second turbo later on.
If you're looking to buy an FP3S, as it says on the chassis right there, what would you look for in the engine bay?
So yeah, you'd want to be cautious. If you don't know these engines, find someone that does know them, because you really need to be an enthusiast or know how to turn the spanners to be able to own and work on these. There's no pistons, if you didn't know that. So it's a rotary engine. So
the shape of a Dorito.
Twin rotor, hence the Dorito. The shape, basically the rotors are the shape of a Dorito that do the combustion cycle in the block there. So twin rotor. Twin sequential turbos. It is compact, so it is technically, this has a 50-50 weight distribution.
So if you stand where the center line is, or where the front axle,
this is where your front wheels, the center line is, and it's classified as a front midship engine or subframe or chassis. So your engine essentially is behind this line, which is here. It is such a compact and small engine. In theory, it's just that, and the rest of it is really ancillaries, plumbing, intercoolers. Intake,
so as you can see, they put like in the engine bay, everything's all the way at the back, and you get some space, I guess, to work on in these little areas here.
It's got some little upgrades here and there, like your carbon intake with the intercooler.
Gritty intercooler.
This particular example does run an Apex Power FC ECU. It's drivable, it's usable on the street, which is exactly what the owner wants it for.
Let's get on to the interior, shall we? Dom, do the honors?
Let's have a look. Again, these fantastic door handles.
And have a look inside.
Oh yeah.
And Oh, you got something there for you. What's in the passenger seat, Dom?
Oh, it looks like a little bit of history, memorabilia. That was the 1993 Bathurst 12-hour race, and look what's on there, the winner. Mazda
I'm going to grab it all with you, actually. Let's
Mazda
have a look.
In the early 90s, we're trying to prove the rotary engine and its worth, and by running an endurance competition, and it took outright honours at the Le Mans and endurance races there.
And Bathurst as well. But not just racing.
Yeah, pop culture. You got in Japan, Initial D, there's some Japanese...
Some mangas featuring this car with its infamous enemy, the 86. And then you got a magazine there.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
What we got in there?
Well, there you go. There's a little taste. There's the SP there. You can see
Exactly.
that little, not literal, that big reel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the SP version for you next to the granddaddy, the 787.
Look, oh, there you go. Original advertisement for Australia, where they again they took well advantage of that Le Mans win. Mazda Rotary Power winner of the 1991 endurance race. So at least they proved that these engines were good for at least 12 or 24 hours, and then you needed a rebuild.
Exactly.
Prime example of that at Bathurst, where this car essentially dominated the 968 Porsches and 911s later on. So here you can see that this is 1992, 93. Where you
and there's the loser.
Where it's
968. I guess in period it raced with that generation of E36 M3.
Yeah.
So yeah, this car took on and beat some quite serious competition. Sitting inside the RX-7, Dom, what do you think?
It's tight. It's nice. The seats are comfortable. You're really cocooned in here. It's a proper cockpit that just surrounds you. Sitting in here, and you basically got that view. You're sitting really low in it. If you have a look at that wraparound vent into the door trim I was talking about, so that comes right down into the back there. But when you look at it, it actually wraps around.
Yeah, and goes all the way down the console
into that area there. So to get a good look at that, first thing you're going to notice here, staring right at you, is the tachometer. Of course, it's what you need in a rotary engine, because that thing will spin real quick, and you don't want to hurt that engine. So if you notice, the colours are very elegant. It's
exactly.
It's like an antique white.
Exactly.
With chrome surroundings on the dial.
It's like an old school watch face as well.
Yeah. It's unusual in a car like this, and then you've got carbon fibre.
It's actually fake carbon fibre there. Carbon fibre effect.
Well, the marketing department in the day didn't say that. So.
Exactly. It's so deceiving. From all the stuff I've been reading, this came out as being a genuine carbon fibre.
Yeah, so carbon fibre was the Bathurst R had these carbon fibre inserts, the Mazda Speed carbon fibre handbrake lever that you see there. This is probably an actual real carbon fibre shift lever, but it came with a taller Mazda Speed carbon fibre shift lever, and that was some of the advertising material for a Bathurst R. Along with the adjustable dampers. So it's nice, but that's one thing that does show that it's a 90s car.
Got a Nardi steering wheel as well.
Nardi steering wheel, which was popular for, again, in the day, your WRXs had that, your MX-5s.
22Bs even.
Yes. And that's a nice little touch. I love that they used to still put the brand names there. You see with the Momos as well. Pedal placement's really nice, so you're resting, you've got a nice footrest there. Hey, have a look at that. You've got a nice little padded section there for your left leg when you pull on the G's. And it's quite comfy.
It is, isn't it?
Down the road,
Cloth seats, but they hold you in really well, which is actually the most important thing.
Yeah. And it's just basics, it's just what you need, just simple air conditioning, switches, heater, fan.
So yeah, that is the inside of the FD3S RX-7. You think someone take it out on the road, Dom?
Let's go for a drive.
Let's go.
Alright, so here we are, driving impressions of the FD3S. Taking it through some nice little windy roads here. Initial impressions, this example is obviously had some modifications done to it, so we've got some modern aftermarket coilover suspension, which has made it nice and tight and nice and bumpy for these back roads. So we're going to be a bit up and down, but that's okay. It's great to sit in a nice early Japanese sports car, which is very analog. We've got great hydraulic steering feel. We've got rear wheel drive. We've got a 5-speed H pattern shifter. and it's just fantastic. It feels really great. The steering is very precise, and you can feel everything in the front end. Talking numbers, what have we got? We've got the gentleman's agreement in the Japanese manufacturing area of 276 horsepower, 206 kilowatts. We've got just under 1,300 kilograms of weight, so about the same as what a Subaru BRZ or Toyota 86 is, but I'd have one of these any day. So it's got a nice note to it, got an aftermarket exhaust, makes some pops and crackles and noises like that. So a great car to enjoy. I mean, you don't need any crazy stereos or any flashy lights in here. You can just enjoy the driving experience. So yeah, initial impression, it just begs to be pushed. It just wants to rev. It just wants to be woken up, which we'll see if we can do here. But twin sequential turbos, they're not laggy at all. This particular example is nicely put together, and it really is responsive. It's very compact. It is a small car, but you've got the nice wheel arches at the front there hanging over that you can see, so you can point and shoot. You can put it through to the apex wherever you want to. It's fantastic. And there are those pops. That makes you smile. We're going to try and get a bit more of those happening. Brakes have got a nice feel to them, nice and firm, nice and responsive. For this sort of thing in the back roads, it'll be it holds up well. I believe there's a 4-piston on the front, a single piston on the rear. I might stay quiet a little bit just so we can hear those pops and crackles and whooshes. Fantastic, it just pulls and pulls. Of course, these don't have a lot of torque. They're all about the power band, so they love to rev. You have to be careful not to over rev them because they just spin so freely. If you're not used to a rotary and you're used to the piston engines, you jump in these and you can easily over rev them. Mazda even built from the factory a little buzzer noise, or a bell, I guess you could call it, just to remind you every time. Whooshes, pops, crackles. Really fun car. Really puts a smile on your face. Get close to the shifter here with your hand. This particular example has a short shifter, so nice and crisp shifts. It's very mechanical in the feel. You know that you've really engaged the gear when you push it in there, which is what you like. Clutch feel is really easy. It's really nice. You're not doing a lot of work to get the most out of it. Again, on the racetrack, that would be ideal. And a lot of visibility, like you've got vision all around, like the glass house in this car, it's basically a bubble. It's you really know where every corner of the car is. You can really place it well. Would I take one of these over the Porsche 968 or a 911? That's personal preference. I am a big fan of the 968s, funnily enough, not more than the 911s, but I've had a Rotary, I've had an RX-7 the previous generation, and I absolutely loved it. And so for nostalgic reasons, I would take this. And it's different, it sounds different, and a lot of people wouldn't know what it is. They think it's probably a Batmobile or something like that, but yeah, 100%. For me, pure driver's car, and if you haven't experienced an early 90s, or even any 90s really, late 90s Japanese sports car, what are you waiting for? Give it a go. It's fantastic.
Mazda RX-7 Pipe R Bathurst R. Dom, what do you think?
Yeah, I want one. It's awesome. Pure sports car. It's not a touring car. It's a sports car. It's a race car, obviously, as we've learned today. Fantastic. It drives really well. It's really responsive, revvy. That rotary engine is really what makes this car. And yeah, it's wrapped up in a nice curvaceous package. It's a great car.
So it really lives up to the legend?
It does, yeah, and it's a shame. Mazda, please build these again. It's a real shame. I know for reasons that they can't, but yeah, get one. If you got one, hold on to it. They're great. They're fantastic.
Would you get one over a 968?
I was just saying that actually. I would.
You would?
I would, yeah. And I'm a big front-engine Porsche fan. Like I'd get a front-engine Porsche before I get a 911. But and as I was saying, it's a nostalgic thing. I've had an FC RX7 and this brought back memories again. So for that reason, you know, yeah. It's unique. You pull up somewhere and people are going to look at this thing.
It's a timeless shape that we found.
It's just, it's aged well.
So yeah, just in closing actually, while I was doing my research on this car, I found this article, great article actually, about an owner who had just been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he purchased a Type R Bathurst car, because it was his dream machine before he unfortunately passed away. So yeah, so as we found out today, you can't really take anything away from it, from the way it looks to the way it drives, and I guess to how it makes you feel. Yeah, definitely a dream machine in that case. Definitely lives up to the hype. Definitely one of Japan's finest sports cars right here.
And pop-up headlights.
not to forget that.
You may know that we're going through a hard time with bushfires in a couple of states at the moment, so whilst we've got an opportunity on camera to mention something, we want to say, obviously, if you can donate and help in any way, we are needing it here in Australia at the moment. Obviously, once the bushfires are over and the news is forgotten about it, the people that are going through the hard times still need the help. So if there's any way that even down the track you can make donations or offer help or services in any way, please do. We'll throw some links down below, and yeah, where you can help out, and for an excellent cause, obviously.
Yeah, definitely help out where you can. Your help, support's really appreciated. We'll drop a couple of links down below, and yeah, see what you guys can do to help out from the car community. Will be appreciated. So that was the Mazda RX-7 Type R Bathurst R. And now it's time to hand the keys back to the owner.
No.
No?
Why?
Well, no, you can't keep it, dumb. Oh, you got the keys though, but you got to give it back now. So yeah, so if you want to follow this car, you can follow him on Instagram. I'll put a link down below. You can follow him at Amile de Silva. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Check out Grip Auto Washes as well while you're at it.
It's time to get a grip.
Time to get a grip. So yeah, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well if you enjoy the video. Make sure to hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss when the next car review comes out. We've got some special cars lined up, we'd like to say, so make sure you don't miss out. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Cheers.